everyone, it's Linda McKenna from Golden Rule Senior Placement Services coming to you with Tuesday Talks. And our Tuesday Talks this month, in observance for Physical Therapy Month, is also safety for your seniors around the home and fall prevention and being very proactive and preventative. So I thought having a fall theme would be really appropriate in more ways than one. Not only for the season, but the season for our seniors that are experiencing difficulty in walking and ambulating, transferring, and the chances of falls. So I'm going to look at my notes at the same time, and we're going to discuss 8 fall health and home safety tips for seniors. Well, you know what? With the start of the fall seasons, we also have to remember that we're dealing with cooler weather, and we're dealing with a lot of flus, a lot of colds, a lot of health issues during this time of the year as well too. So what does your doctor recommend, for your senior loved one in order to be proactive and to prevent getting the flu? What would be great, communication of having with your physician, with your of your senior loved one? A lot of them do recommend that the flu vaccine is important to get because as much as 80,000 people in the United States, according to the Centers for Disease Control, are hospitalized due to the flu. Sometimes it could really spiral into pneumonia. It could spiral into a lot of things, and especially that we're dealing with COVID as well too, being on the upkick from it. It is something that we really should address, and let's try to be preventative. And what can we do to preserve our seniors' health? So discuss that about the flu vaccine, something that is really, really important. Organizing your medicine cabinet. I think that is such a great idea. With your parents that are still living at home, that is something of an issue. If that medication management is not looked after by maybe a senior living community that are administering the medication, if there is not a system in place. But more importantly is the fact that they're doing it themselves. So if there is a medication in the cabinet that has expired, or better yet, is duplicated because they were recently at the doctor's office or in the hospital and another doctor recommended the same medication that they already have home. Medical errors is a big thing with a lot of our seniors and the physicians that serve them, is the fact that we're not medication reconciliation. So again, very important. When I used to work for home health, that was one of the biggest things that our nurses and therapists, when they went into the home, is to look at the medication according to what the doctor was ordering and what they have in place. Again, a lot of duplication and a lot of expiration. So you, as being the caregiver or the loved one, sibling or that of the child of these elderly parents or grandparents, take the responsibility of looking at the medications. It's very important. But there should be a system in place. People that have low immunity, a lot of doctors recommend zinc. I take zinc because of my low immunity, and extra vitamin C. So that might be something that you want to also discuss with the physician for your parents as well. And not for nothing for yourself. But zinc, it's over the counter. It really boosts the immune system as well as vitamin C. Cold proof your home. Okay, I live in Florida and people think that's not a concern. It is a concern. throughout the United States where inclement weather does come in, and cold proofing the home is drafty windows or the pipes into the home that are feeding us our water supply, they could get frozen. So they need to be maintained as well. But drafty windows, doors that are not closing properly, maybe the air conditioning heating system is not working up to its best potential. These are the things that we need to look at, because cold proofing the home is very, very important, because that could be something that could promote your loved one getting sick. And, it might not be visible, the drafts, but being in that home and checking the windows would be really something that you need to look at before it actually happens. We're also in hurricane season. So another thing, it might not be cold and clement weather, but winds are very something that we need to also safety proof our homes. Check batteries. We often forget to do that. Batteries in our smoke alarms, in our flashlights, in our clocks, all those things that take batteries, we assume they're okay until we get to the time of using it and the batteries are not working or they're draining. You don't want to wait to an occasion does happen that you realize that the batteries are no longer working. Batteries should be changed often. A lot of people do it during seasons, and I think that's a great idea. When summer goes into fall, they change the batteries in a lot of their things in their home, no matter if it's needed or not. So this way you're really recharging. Also, some people do have alerts, systems like the Alexa. Make sure there's a backup for electricity for your Alexa or any emergency systems, even medication systems, but also cell phones. We need to plug them in the wall. Make sure that battery that is with that cell phone is fully charged before maybe a season of a hurricane or whatever, but maybe sometimes even changing that battery on that cell phone is important. But checking batteries is important because it really is preventative. So we're not making something that is going to be a problem when we really need it. Protect against falls. What my primary focus here in talking with you folks is that during icy weather, inclement weather, there's a higher risk for falling outside, but a lot of people don't realize there's falls that occur inside the home as well too. So how do we protect ourselves about that? In the home for us seniors, there should be ample walkways. And a lot of seniors, even though they use a walker outside the home, they're not using it inside the home. Why? Is because they know how to navigate their home. So they don't feel that they need it around their home. Or the more reason is to use a walker because you might be carrying things that you can use the seat to carry things on, but to ambulate safer. Nothing could be worse than if somebody is walking in the house and they fall in a hallway and they're not near the Alexa, they don't have an emergency system, that they could be on that floor for a very, very long time and be unnoticed. And falls could be preventative. We could be proactive. That's why safe walkways, making sure the bathroom is set up with grab bars, not only around the toilet area, but of course in the showers as well too. Clutter produces problems. I'm not going to deny that if it's not an easy walkway. There's, unfortunately some seniors that have throw rugs or anything of that nature. That could be a barrier. It could be a problem. So a physical therapist actually coming in your home and doing an eval is really prevalent and really could give you some safety tips for that. So we want to be proactive and be preventative for falls. because once a fall happens and it's a large bone, may it be the hip, the femur, any large bones or any one that requires surgery, it's typical. A lot of therapists say that the mortality rate is very, very high when somebody over the age of 80, the mortality rate is within a year because of that shock to the system, the surgery, being under anesthesia. So again, we want to be proactive and preventative for falls before it happens. So maybe even have an exercise program. Doing that with your loved one if you're the caretaker. If they're in senior living, this is something that is observed on a regular basis for prevention, because there is some therapies in-house that they're working with them consistently and constantly, but they're ambulating more, and they have a level eye of being watched on a regular basis by clinicians. So again, very, very important for you to realize that it might be something that maybe they're not safe at home any longer. Okay, make sure you can say, yeah, we forget that we need to go to the eye doctor often. And as we age in place, we're in denial of losing our eyesight. But a lot of, as we get older, there's cataracts, there's macular degeneration. There is a diabetic retinopathy that comes into play. And our vision does decrease. So where does it inhibit? It really inhibits driving. That becomes a barrier. Sometimes there's the cloudiness from the cataracts that the sun is actually reflecting off their own lenses, meaning their internal lenses, and not able to drive. Night vision is a problem. But if there is low vision due to maybe a disease process, maybe diabetes, it could be a problem for ambulation and falls as well too, because you might not see things that are in your pathway or around you that could actually promote a fall. So going to the doctor is important. These need to be upgraded on a regular basis to your lenses, and sometimes surgery is required, but it needs to be refreshed. We take it for granted that we have glasses, and you know what? I'm okay. And you look at the prescription and it's something from maybe 5 years ago. So again, something that needs to be regularly looked after, that you can make sure that you can see and see quality wise. A plan for solitude. We're on the cusp of the holiday season, are we not? We're at next month is Thanksgiving, and the month after that is Hanukkah, and is also Christmas. What are our seniors feeling right now? The safety concerns of being home alone and not observing the holiday, but also there sometimes becomes a very much of a depression. When people stay home and not socializing, and also the holiday season is present, they retrieve and they become very depressed. A lot of things could add up to the fall season, that this is, and into the winter season, that this becomes a season of really solitude. So maybe that you are visiting your children out of state for the holidays and your parents are left home alone. There's got to be a concern. There's got to be a safety net there for them. But also realize that it's also a very depressive time for them too, because they're really reflecting a lot of seasons prior, when they were younger, and who's missing, who's no longer around. But this is also a great season for you to observe your parents. Go visit them. And honestly, this is my time that I'm very busy, because a lot of families that are coming out of state to visit their parents are recognizing their parents have changed, and that there is a need for care, need for move to senior living, whatever that it may be, is that it's a concern. So be observant as your senior loved one is aging. And prep for bad weather. Again, yes, we're in Florida, We do have bad weather. We do get cold weather as well too. But guess what? We also have those hurricanes we're preparing for. So for my clients that are out of state, we are preparing the house for bad weather. Again, like we spoke about, the pipes into the home, the shoveling of snow outside, the windows that are windy, but also making sure we have enough food and water supply in the home, and of course medication in the home in case that storm does come through. First aid kits. We could have a whole host of things that we need to prepare for. So preparing is the best thing, is that you are prepared for when it happens. So preparation is important more than anything else. So you want to make sure that your senior loved one is preparing for themselves, or you're doing it for them. Thank you for viewing Tuesday Talks with Linda McKenna of Golden Rule Senior Placement Services. As always, I lead you to my website. It's www.goldenruleseniorplacement.com. There you will find a whole host of information. You'll find my bio, testimonials, various options, links to my social media. Also, you will also see a lot of these videos from the past 5 years. I'll be celebrating my 6th year in business next month. This week, we'll be celebrating my husband's birthday, my birthday on Saturday, and also breast cancer month. I'm continuing with that. Ironically, my next talk to you will be on October 31st, which is actually Halloween. So with that being said, I will be talking to you about there is no tricks, only treats for your senior loved one. So view us in 2 weeks for another Tuesday Talks with Linda McKenna of Golden Rule Senior Placement Services. Last thoughts, be proactive and preventative. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. Bye-bye now.